Have you ever stopped to think about what wet food actually does to your cat when they eat it every single day? Most pet owners assume it's simply a tastier or higher quality meal. But in reality, the effects go much deeper than that. Daily wet food consumption can influence how your cat's internal organs function, how they feel physically, and even how they behave around you. What begins as a simple dietary change can completely transform your understanding of how to properly feed your cat. Let's break down what starts happening from the very first day. 1. Their body finally receives the hydration it truly needs. Have you ever noticed how your cat barely drinks from their water bowl? This isn't laziness, and it's not because they're being picky. It's actually rooted in their biology. Cats evolved as desert hunters. Their ancestors survived by getting most of their moisture from the prey they consumed. Because of this, cats developed a naturally low thirst drive. Their bodies were never designed to rely heavily on drinking water separately. Here's where the issue begins. Most domestic cats are fed dry kibble, which contains only about 10% moisture. In contrast, wet food contains around 75 to 80% moisture, almost identical to the natural composition of prey like mice or birds. When you introduce wet food into your cat's daily diet, their hydration levels increase significantly. Their kidneys no longer have to work as hard to process concentrated waste. Their urine becomes more diluted, reducing the risk of urinary crystals and blockages. This is especially important because urinary issues are one of the most common health emergencies in cats, particularly males. Your cat might not suddenly stop drinking water, but their body is no longer operating in a constant state of mild dehydration, and importantly, this improvement in hydration supports many of the other benefits that follow. 2. Their weight begins to change, often in unexpected ways. Many indoor cats struggle with maintaining a healthy weight, even when their owners are careful not to overfeed them. This isn't necessarily due to laziness, it often comes down to the composition of their food. Dry kibble typically contains a high percentage of carbohydrates, sometimes exceeding 40%. However, cats are obligate carnivores, meaning their bodies are not designed to efficiently process carbohydrates as a primary energy source. As a result, excess carbohydrates are often stored as fat. Cats may feel hungry more frequently despite adequate calorie intake. When you switch to wet food, the protein content increases. Carbohydrate levels decrease significantly. The high moisture content helps create a feeling of fullness. This combination allows your cat to feel satisfied with fewer calories, often without strict portion control. So if your cat has been gaining weight despite your efforts, the issue may not be how much you are feeding, but rather what you are feeding. 3. Their coat becomes a visible indicator of internal health. A cat's coat can reveal a lot about their overall condition. Some cats have soft, glossy fur that looks almost perfect, while others have dull, dry, or flaky coats, even with regular grooming. This difference is often not about brushing at all. Your cat's fur reflects their internal nutrition. Poor diet can lead to dull fur, excessive shedding, and dry skin. Proper nutrition supports healthy, shiny, and resilient coats. Wet food is naturally rich in animal-based proteins and fats, which are essential for skin and fur health. Dry kibble, even high-quality varieties, undergoes heavy processing that can reduce the availability of these nutrients. After switching to wet food, many owners notice changes within weeks. Fur becomes softer and smoother. Shedding decreases. Greasy or dusty textures disappear. These improvements are often one of the first visible signs that your cat's internal health is improving. 4. Their behavior around food changes dramatically. Does your cat rush to the kitchen the moment you move? Do they eat as if their food might disappear at any second? Many people assume this is just personality, that their cat is greedy or overly food motivated. But in many cases, the issue is actually a lack of true satiety. Dry food tends to digest quickly. Provide weaker fullness signals to the brain. Leave cats feeling hungry again soon after eating. This leads to behaviors like constant begging. Restlessness between meals. Early morning wake-up calls demanding food. When wet food becomes part of their daily routine, higher protein levels trigger stronger satiety signals. Increased moisture adds volume to meals, physically helping the stomach feel full. As a result, cats feel satisfied after eating. Food-seeking behavior decreases. Mealtime becomes calmer and more predictable. However, it's important to note that behavior isn't always just about food. Some cats develop fast eating habits due to stress or competition, especially in multi-cat households. In those cases, combining wet food with tools like food puzzles can further improve their eating behavior by slowing them down and engaging their natural instincts. 5. A potential risk that many owners overlook. With all these benefits, it's easy to assume wet food has no downsides, but there is one important factor that many owners fail to consider. Unlike dry kibble, wet food cannot safely sit out for long periods. Once exposed to room temperature, bacteria begin to multiply quickly. The safe window for consumption may be as short as 1 to 2 hours. This is especially risky for cats that prefer to graze throughout the day. Food that appears normal, and may even smell fine to you, can already be unsafe. To avoid problems, do not leave wet food out for more than 2 hours. Discard any uneaten portions after that time. Store and used food in the refrigerator immediately. Use refrigerated food within 48 hours. Another commonly overlooked detail: serving wet food straight from the fridge is not ideal. Cats prefer food closer to body temperature because it resembles fresh prey. Slightly warming the food, or adding a bit of warm water, can make it more appealing and natural for them. Final thought: wet food can provide significant health and behavioral benefits for your cat, from better hydration to improved weight control and calmer eating habits. However, the key difference between wet food helping your cat and causing issues lies in how it is handled after opening. When used correctly, it aligns closely with what your cat's body was naturally designed to consume.